Daddy long that guy. And shout out to Red Light Crew.
Hey, you're one of 12 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
Yeah, you know what? To define that better, I think the key there is... Zero cat. I just lost my train of thought.
Welcome in episode 149 of Nation Real Life, and going to be a bit of a different feel this week on Nation Real Life. We got a big guest coming up, smaller crew, Chalmers and Jay. They are not okay after their trip from Buffalo. They needed the week off.
Yeah, I mean, they're very old at this point, right? So when you party as hard as they did in Buffalo, it's going to take the body some time to recover. Again, they are very, very old.
Yeah, very, very old. Me and you could bounce back from that in a second.
Of course.
We'll get to Jay's Uggs. We'll get to some Mike Babcock stuff as well, and a whole bunch of things from around the NHL. Talk about the Oilers' success. But we got a Mary Brown's pop-in coming in just a couple of minutes here. Former Oilers defenseman Cory Cross. This is going to be an interesting interview on a number of levels.
The guy has had a hell of a journey to get to where he was in pro sports. This wasn't the standard, you get drafted, you go to camp, you work out and make a team kind of story. There was a lot more into this one. And as we were doing some research on the interview, it became clear just how interesting of a journey he had to the NHL and what he had to do to make it stick.
Yeah, and like the other thing too, with Mike Babcock being in the news, Cory Cross's last ever NHL coach was Mike Babcock. So I'm excited to get his take on that.
It's going to be interesting to see how he feels about Babcock as a coach. Obviously, he was only there for something like 16 games or something like that, right? But he's still got to have some thoughts on some of the stories that are coming out this past week.
His whole career is very interesting, and we're not going to waste any more time now. It's a Mary Brown's Pop-In. Bite-sized morsels of 100% breast meat, chicken-coated in Mary's seasoning, served hot, crispy, and so yummy. You can even choose Thai for an extra kick of sweet heat, topped with sesame seeds. Joining us on the line now on Nation Real Life is former Oilers defenseman Cory Cross. He's now a businessman with Rohan Well Servicing and ProSmart Sports. Cory, first off, thanks for giving us some time today, man.
Yeah, no problem, Tyler.
I want to start with this, the story of you making it to the NHL. I'm a guy I'm big with the University of Alberta right now. I love watching their games. I work on the broadcast, so it's great to see an alumni that has gone through the NHL and made it to the league from the U of A, but you were a pick in the 92 supplemental draft, something that doesn't even exist anymore, and you went on to play 700 career NHL games. I'm sure you've thought about it a lot, but your career, to come up from that sort of start and have that long of a career, it must be something you're immensely proud of.
I was pretty lucky in the right space, the right time. And, it was something that I try to tell kids and parents now that I'm dealing with in minor hockey, that, kids just develop differently. They develop at different times. And I was one of those late bloomers. I grew, probably eight inches in, between grade 10 and grade 12. And went from being an average sized kid to being the tallest kid in school. And, but then my body was, lanky and skinny and no strength. And so it took me a few more years to get some strength. And then Billy Morris found me in an ice hockey class. So it was pretty lucky.
So whenever I go on Elite Prospects, Hockey DB, like before the University of Alberta, there's nothing listed there. What was your hockey career up before that point like?
Well, I played minor hockey in Lloydminster all the way up till midget, and midget AA was the level in Lloyd. And then at the end of the midget year, I decided to just quit hockey and go to school. My parents had me on a scholarship plan that they'd been putting money into it since I was a little kid, and didn't want to lose that money. So I said, well, I'll just take this ice hockey class, become a teacher, phys ed teacher, and that's what I did. So when I started skating this class, I realized how much I was missing hockey. And Billy Moores was the instructor of the course. And I asked him if he knew of a team I could play with. He goes, well, they're the Crusaders in Sherwood Park, or the Traders, and I said, well, I don't have a vehicle. I lived in a house right across the street from campus. And so he goes, well, here's a guy from the Edmonton Royals, junior B team here in town. So I called him up and said, hey, I'd like to try out for your team. Don't have a vehicle. And he goes, oh, we'll get one of the guys to pick you up. Went to practice, and it was obvious to me that I was going to make the team. Came back, talked to my roommate, who was also a good little hockey player in Lloydminster, and he had a vehicle, so I talked him into playing. And we played for the Junior B Royals, and had a real fun time. And then Billy asked me to come out and try out for the U of A the next year, and I made the team as a eighth defenseman.
You, in your time at the U of A, you won 3 championships, including a national title. What is it about the University of Alberta that seems to produce such elite hockey teams?
Well, it's just it's the tradition. The alumni is a big part of it. You walk into that rink and you see the banners and the history of it all. And I mean, one of the worst dressing rooms you've probably ever seen, but that the rink itself is just exudes excellence. And Grams, which when I got at the UFC Dinos, you could see the difference between the marketing of the universities, and U of A does a great job. So kids that are growing up in Edmonton and the surrounding area, they know all about the Bears. They know they want to be a Bear. They see, their parents take them to the games, and they see what you can do after the Western League. And so right there's easy recruiting right there, because you got kids who know all about the Bears. And then the alumni, it's just the history of it. You walk into the room, it doesn't matter how many years you played in the Western League, you gotta abide by the rules. And they have rules, and they run a tight ship. They get good coaching, and they just have success year after year.
Yeah, Tyler off the jump here mentioned the 92 supplemental draft, which doesn't even exist anymore. I'm looking at the numbers of players who were selected in the supplemental draft, and I think there's only Steve Ruchin who's played more NHL games than you. Was it a conscious decision you made or something like that to just work your way into an opportunity with an NHL team? Is there somebody inspired that kind of work ethic? How did that work, where you decided, this isn't the end, I'm going to make the show?
Well, it was when I made U of A, my first year, I knew guys from Lloydminster had tried playing at U of A, had gotten cut. And then thinking to myself, here I played midget AA. These guys played junior A and got cut. There's no chance that I'm going to make it. But I did make it. Billy saw something in me, I guess. And, I just started working hard and practicing with the guys. And then there was word that scouts were coming to see me. I had a Buffalo scout pull me over to the side one game I wasn't playing. He just pulled me over and said, hey, just want to introduce myself, gave me his card. And then I started thinking, hey, you know what, there's some interest here. And Ian Herbers took me under his wing. He was like my big brother, and took me under his wing, started training. We started training together, and I started learning how to become a better player and getting stronger. And then we won the national championship in '92, and then there was talk that I was going to get drafted and all that. So it kind of just fell in my lap, actually.
So you end your career at the U of A at the end of the 93 season, and then in the 93-94 year, you had 5 NHL games under your belt with the Tampa Bay Lightning. When you think about your first sort of taste of NHL hockey, is there one story that really sticks out in your mind, one moment at all?
Well, my first game was against Pittsburgh, and they had everybody in the lineup: Mario Lemieux, Yager, Francis, Joey Mullen, Larry Murphy, Kevin Steve. Like, they were just stacked. And that was my very first game. And I just remember in warm-ups just looking across and thinking, what am I doing here? I'd forgotten about it, but my parents had videotaped the game. And my very first shift, I came across and smoked Joey Mullen, like one of my best hits of my career, my very first shift. So, I always tell kids, you got to make a statement when you get a chance. And I guess I did. I made that statement, and then I played real well those five games, and I knew at that point that I could play in the league. So.
When we had Zach Stortini on a couple of weeks ago, and he told us his welcome to the NHL moment off the ice is when he went for dinner as a rookie. He just got called up. They played credit card roulette. His got drawn, and he looked at the bill and was like, holy shit, I don't have this kind of money in my account. Was there one of those moments for you, like a welcome to the NHL moment off the ice?
Yeah, I don't know. geez, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. The rookie party was always fun, and that was a good time. I had mine in Quebec, and got off pretty easily because at that time U.S. money was a lot better than the Canadian dollar. So I got off pretty easily with the dollar amount I had to pay, and I just remember having a really good time that night.
When you started to establish yourself as a NHL regular, you were with the Tampa Bay Lightning. You were playing almost every game. Was there a moment when you had some NHL money come in, you're like, I'm going to buy something stupid? And if so, what was that stupid thing you bought?
Your first big purchase?
Well, it's funny because my wife and I were cleaning up our storage areas, and I came across my very first contract. And I showed her, I said, here's what I made in my first 4 years in the NHL was $225,000. So there wasn't many big purchases. Let me tell you that. I remember buying a vehicle. I had never owned a vehicle until I turned pro. So bought my first vehicle when I was in Atlanta and with the farm team. Other than that, just buying homes. I was pretty mature back then. I got through university on $6,000 a year, so maybe a little frugal at times.
What was that first vehicle you bought? Do you remember?
It was a Jeep Cherokee. I think it was the first year the Jeep Cherokees came out.
Nice.
You mentioned, cleaning out the basement, things like that. Some NHLers keep everything from their careers, and they have every little memento, a puck from this, a puck from that. Were you ever like that? And is there one item that is kind of like the holy grail of your career?
I have a lot of mementos. Yeah, I have a lot of jerseys. I collected some jerseys over the years, so I've got a good little collection of jerseys. My first puck is up and framed in on our wall, and a picture of me celebrating at the bench after my first goal. So I guess that's the one I'll always keep. And my gold medals with Team Canada at the World Championships. Those were a big part of my career.
I was actually just about to ask you those 2 gold medals. I'd imagine those are close to you. What was that experience like? Not only getting to represent Canada and wear the maple leaf, but have success as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it works there when they always ask the superstars to go at first, and for whatever reasons they turn it down, and ends up being usually a young group. And I was just kind of making a name for myself in the league down in Tampa, and so I kind of got a late call, jumped at the chance of going in '97, and met the team in Winnipeg, not really knowing if I had a spot. They had already had 7 defensemen, and I played really, really well in the 2 exhibition games against US, and kind of cemented my role in the top 6, and had a really, really good tournament. And was real happy. We had tons of confidence the next year going into Tampa, and then got asked again to play the following year in '98. We didn't do as well there, but just putting that Canadian jersey on is just amazing. I remember walking into Winnipeg, and the first time I put it on, it was like I was pinched myself. And then in '03, I got asked again, a late ask again. Went with a bunch of the guys off the Oilers. I think there were 6 of us there, and won together, and that was pretty special.
Seeing as the Worlds take place during the playoffs, I feel like that's one of the tournaments that kind of gets overlooked a little bit by North American fans. Is there something in your mind that you can kind of think about the Worlds that makes it such a special experience that maybe the general public doesn't know about?
Well, the attendance at the people that watch the World Championships eclipses any NHL playoff viewing. All over the world, are watching the World Championships, and I can't remember all the stats, but the TV airing was way more than what North Americans view the NHL playoffs. So that's pretty cool. And in Europe, it's the biggest thing in hockey. So the crowds and the atmosphere is amazing.
Moving along with your career, you mentioned you went to that last World Championship with some guys from the Oilers. That was at the end of the 02-03 season when you had just kind of gotten to Edmonton. What were your first impressions of coming to Edmonton and being an Oiler?
Well, I was really surprised I got traded. I'd been playing really, really well in New York, and didn't think at all that I was going to get traded. And then when Glenn Sather pulled me into the stick room as I was going out to the ice, it told me I was going back home, and he traded me to Edmonton. I was shocked, surprised, but then I was like, "Oh, this is going to be pretty fun." It's kind of my hometown, and going back, being closer to my family. And so I was quite excited, got to the team and a great bunch of guys. Everybody, there was no real big superstars. They were just all hardworking guys and really, really good group.
You mentioned Glenn Sather told you got traded in a stick room?
yeah. I was walking out to start practice. He said, "Hey, Cory, come to my office." And we walked into the stick room.
You were traded a few times in your career. Is there one that was just like an absolute weird moment or like an odd way of being handed the news?
Well, each one was a little bit different. In town, when I got traded to Toronto and Tampa, I mean, we had new ownership there, new coaching staff. I just signed we had some contract problems, so I held out for training camp and signed a deal, and then they traded me 2 days later. So I was like, I was disappointed, but really, really excited to go to Toronto. And then the New York trade, that was interesting. And then I guess the trade from Edmonton to Pittsburgh was LA. I only had like a little duffel bag. We had just like I think we were going on a golf trip. I think we had some days in Phoenix. We're going to LA, Phoenix, golfing for a day. And then, so I had my golf shoes and stuff in a duffel bag, and that's all I had. So that was, I had to fly right from Pittsburgh from LA. So that was interesting. But probably the most interesting one was when I got traded, later at the deadline to Detroit. My wife just had her baby girl on the 7th, March 7th. And I got traded on March 9th, and we were in the hospital. And I was holding Ayla, and I got the phone call from Pittsburgh, from Craig Patrick, and saying that I got traded to Detroit. So that was probably the most interesting one.
You started your career in Tampa Bay, which is, a little bit of a smaller market, and then you followed it up by going to Toronto, New York, and Edmonton. And a lot of people make deals about, the media coverage you get in Toronto, how players handle the pressures of being in a fishbowl market like that. That's always the buzzword that's used. Did you feel that at all, being in the three markets compared to somewhere like Tampa Bay?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I got recognized in Toronto in the first month more than I did in Tampa in 5 years. You're not much of a, back then you weren't much of a big deal with the Lightning. I think things have changed down there for sure. But in Toronto, man, you're a Leaf, you're a god, and everybody knew who you were. And the media too. I mean, the media is just, it's a fishbowl, and you just try to don't read. I always tell guys, don't read the articles. You'll just make you crazy. So.
Another website that we have in our network, Cory, is hockeyfights.com. So I was looking at your account on the site, and you fought some heavyweights. There's Kevin Dineen, I see, Steve Ott, Dale Hunter. As somebody who's done the job, where do you see fighting as having a place in the NHL today?
Well, I wouldn't call those guys heavyweights. I always pick the right guys. But you know what? It really, as much as I like to watch a fight, is it needed anymore? I mean, it's such a catch-22. I mean, I played university hockey where there was no fighting, and the stick work is definitely elevated. And you see that now. I mean, Bertuzzo, he's cross-checking that, the Nashville guy in the back, and that wouldn't have happened back in the day. If you did that, you were going to have to drop the gloves, and somebody's going to take control of the situation. So I don't know what they can do. I honestly don't. They're going to keep arguing this for years and years and years. So.
The last thing I wanted to touch on before we get to a little bit of your post-career life is you mentioned you got traded at that deadline and went to the Detroit Red Wings, where Mike Babcock was the head coach. Obviously, he's in the news a lot right now, given that he was fired. There was the whole thing with Mitch Marner that came out today as well. He's been getting ripped a lot online by guys like Mike Commodore, Mark Frazier. Do you think that's like deserved? Like, is that a side of Babcock that you saw as well? Or do you think some of this is just players being a little bit sour? Like, what are your thoughts on Babcock?
Well, I mean, I think Mike sometimes got blinded by his arrogance, right? I mean, but we all do. I mean, it doesn't matter what walk of life you are. If you think you know what you're doing, and you make mistakes, and you think you can kind of do whatever you want. And yeah, I mean, he's not the only coach that did some things that as players you're just shaking your head and you're like, okay, that's not cool. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I was only with him for 2 months. For myself, I played in the last 16 games of Detroit with Detroit. I was on the ice for 1 goal against those 16 games. Go in the playoffs against the Oilers, and they bring up an AHL guy and put him in the lineup instead of me. So you're like shaking your head. You're like, what was that all about? But he does what he wants to do, and he never changes. And that's a lot of coaches. A lot of coaches I had, they coached the one way, and their arrogance, it wasn't going to change. It was their way or no way. So.
You moved on after your hockey career to become a coach as well with the University of Calgary, with the West Kelowna Warriors as well. Was coaching something you always kind of had an eye on?
Well, I always enjoyed coaching. Teaching, like I was going to become a teacher when I went to U of A, and I have a teaching degree. So it's always something that I've really enjoyed, and I had some mentors going through high school and my career with hockey, and so I do love giving back. I love being a part of being on the bench and reading the game and helping kids. And it's been I've really enjoyed it. I realized early that I wasn't going to make a career out of it. Just seeing what guys go through in the pro levels, and my wife was pushing me to do it, but there was no way I was going to get on a bus and start doing that all over again, starting from scratch. So. Being at USC and then was a lot of fun. Love that. I mean, I love CIU hockey, obviously, and then being with the West Kelowna Warriors and us winning the RBC championship was one of the biggest highlights of my hockey career. So, it's been a lot of fun, and now I just help coach my son's team in Pee Wee, and it's been good. How's
the year going for you guys? Got a good team?
We have a very good team. But our work ethic is a little lackluster. So I think the head coach is going to maybe change that tomorrow morning.
It's good though. I don't think the head coach's job will be in jeopardy though, no matter what the wins and losses are coming along like at that level. Looking back to your career, was there one coach that really stood out to you as like a really positive mentor, someone who you always just look back and absolutely loved?
Well, Billy Moores. Billy Moores was the best coach I had, hands down. Through any of the levels I played, he exuded respect. Everybody respected him. Everybody would go to the wall for him. He was unbelievably intelligent, could read a game, could get the best out of all the guys. And, and when you become a coach and, you're like, okay, this is what I got to do. It's what Billy Moores did, and it's amazing. And it's disappointing that he never got a chance to coach in the NHL, but he was the best coach I ever had.
And the last thing I just wanted to ask you about, just what are you up to right now? Your Twitter bio, like I said off the top, says you're businessman with Rohan Well Servicing and Pro Smart Sports. What's kind of your day-to-day like with those two?
Well, with Rohan, I started that company with a couple guys back in the lockout of 04-05, and we built that company from scratch, and we employ 80 guys, just over 80 people now. We have 10 service rigs and 8 coil tubing units that work everywhere from Lloydminster up to Fort McMurray. And so when I first retired, I was just helping build business. I spent first 5 winters in Calgary just building business and meeting people downtown Calgary and getting to know the ins and outs of the oil patch. And so that's been it's been good. The last 6 years have been a battle, but we've been able to fend off. Not fend off, just fend off the shortage of work. But our guys do an excellent job in the field and in the office, and so there's not much for me to do. I just go to Calgary, manage our clients, and I'm just enjoying semi-retirement mode. So
Well, we really appreciate your time today, Cory. It was a lot of fun kind of picking your brain a little bit on what was a fantastic NHL career.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
That is former Oilers defenseman Cory Cross. And of course, that is a Mary Brown's Pop-In, brought to you by Mary Brown's and their bite-sized morsels of 100% breast meat, chicken coated in Mary seasoning, served hot, crispy, and so yummy. You can even choose Thai for a kick of sweet heat topped with sesame seeds. Don't forget, also, if you're checking them out on a Monday, it's Big Mary's Monday. You can get their Hero Chicken Sandwich for just $3.99 plus tax. Before we move on, guys, we also got to give a little bit of love to our other sponsor of the podcast, and that is Japa Machinery. And our friends at Japa, they love giving back. The Atchison Business Association has launched its Christmas campaign to give back to the community this holiday season, and Team Japa will be collecting new unwrapped toys, new clothes, non-perishable food, and gift cards as well. These will be gifted to kids, teens, and their families so that everyone can enjoy the holidays. If you'd like to help Japa give back, please feel free to stop by their office, 10397 267th Street in Atchison, Zone 3, anytime between now and December 8th. Again, that's new unwrapped toys, new clothes, non-perishable food, and gift cards as well. Drop them off between now and December 8th. Anything you can. They'd really appreciate it. And if you have questions about demos, rentals, RPOs, sales, or service, no problem. They got you covered as well. They got their website. It's japamachinery.com. You can also reach out to them on social media, or why not just give them a call directly, 780-962-5272 for the most updated inventory. They'll answer any questions you have. An absolutely fantastic initiative that they have going on, partnering up with the Atchison Business Association. We've interviewed a handful of players in the last, former players in the last 4 or 5 months. That's a fascinating guy.
Yeah, the fact that he worked his way into an NHL career that is, what'd you say, almost 700 games, something like that?
Yeah, just shy of 700 games. Then you can factor in some minor pro stuff, some German as well. Like,
he was drafted in a thing that doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
And he fucking ground his way into an NHL career that anybody should be proud of. And you got to respect the hustle, the work ethic, and everything that led him there.
It's Tyler Yaremchuk, Bagged Milk, and we got one other joining us on the podcast.
He's a
Wanye is
voyeur.
here.
Yeah. I was just listening to Cory Cross. I don't want to confuse Cory Cross.
Of course.
He's a smart man, though. He like at the end, like he talked about, you build up your career from absolutely nothing. He does the same thing in business as well with his company. It was just cool to pick his brain on that stuff.
80-man company's no joke.
No, I found it interesting too that a lot of guys during the lockout were going to fuck off to Europe or doing whatever they were doing. He was busy working on a business that now occupies his time in retirement.
Yeah, it was really cool. You can tell he's like a super driven guy. I like that we were able to get a guy who was coached by Mike Babcock on as well. He plays 16 games, is on the ice for 1 goal against, and then they bring up some kid from the American League, and he doesn't even get to play in the playoffs. And the playoff series against his hometown and former team.
Cutthroat.
Yeah, that's Babs. Oh, what's your guys' take on that?
On Babcock?
Yeah.
I mean, I always find it interesting that the knives come out when a guy leaves, right? It's just like, how long were these guys sitting on this story? I guess we should have asked Cory, maybe in hindsight, how big tuning out a coach really is in the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? Like he played in a lot of different cities. I'm sure there were times when a coach was just shit to play for or work for, or however you want to think about it.
Yeah.
What does that look like in the room when you really tune a guy out?
Yeah, and that'd be interesting. Like he played for a handful of different teams. I'm sure it happened on a fairly regular basis, but I was talking today on the air about this. I feel like those coaches now, like with this quote unquote new generation of hockey player, the Babcocks and the Hitchcocks even, and all those guys.
This is your generation, by the way.
This is my generation, wearing the beanie in a press conference like Mitch Marner was today. I feel like those guys have a shelf life of like 3 years. They'll come in the first year and everyone's ears will perk up and be like, all right, we got like a legendary coach here. He's going to be hard on us, but he's going to push us to win. And if the first year doesn't go well and then the second year starts to slip away, it's just, there's no getting that room back because those players will just completely shut you out.
Tactics, right?
Yeah.
It's old school tactics versus new school mentality. It's kind of like how there were rumblings last year that the Oilers weren't really overly keen on how Hitch ran the bench or practices and stuff. And it's because, again, he's old school.
And then he started not even going to the practices. He was just sitting up top and letting Gulletson run it. Like, I think there is something to be said about that.
I think there's like the people that get motivated by the stick and people get motivated by the carrot, right? And I don't think a lot of people anymore are motivated by the stick. I think it's basically all carrot.
Yeah, it's a subcategory.
And everyone gets a carrot. You get a carrot and you get a carrot. And even if you didn't do anything good, you still get a carrot.
But how good can that really be, though, if you're always getting a carrot? Because that's not how life works.
When you're a pro hockey player who's had a lot of stuff handed to you, when, there's a lot of guys come up that do the prep school route and all that, and it's not Cory Cross cold calling junior B team, seeing if someone can drive him to games. Like, I think it is just all carrot for these guys, and they know one way to operate.
That story about Cory Cross told, I wish you'd gotten into a little bit more detail. It's crazy. You're in ice hockey 101 at the U of A. So, like, you can take volleyball, you can take... Yeah, I'm going to take hockey, and then you make the NHL?
Like, it's... Like, he didn't have there was no WHL, Junior A type of shit. It was just like... Yeah, I think this hockey class looks interesting. I've grown a bit. I played AA hockey. Sure, that's an easy way to get some credits.
And there's Billy 8 inches, by the way.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And as Billy Moore is just like walking through the hallways at U of A being like, anybody here an NHL player? Anybody here want to go to the show? Follow me. I'm Billy. And then people just come out and there's a parade.
I imagine a scenario where Billy Moore's like, gotta teach these fucking hockey 101. And he took one look at Cory Cross and was like, oh my God, what the fuck is he doing here?
I'm the greatest hockey 101 teacher alive.
I love how he just had nothing but love for Billy Moore's as well.
Well, of course, you're in fucking first year university and guy finds you and what is it, like 12 months later is in the NHL?
Well, it was 4 years he spent at the U of A, but still to just go through that U of A program as well, like, guys don't go to the NHL from Canadian universities very often.
What's a supplemental draft? I didn't want to. It was funny how you guys kept going, and that doesn't even exist anymore. I could tell Cory Cross is like the.
So I had to look it up. So now you get the college UFAs every summer that become the highly touted free agents. Like, remember when the Weather signed Drake Caggiula a couple years ago?
Justin Schultz.
Justin Schultz. Well, Justin Schultz was drafted into the NHL. But so like Drake Caggiula, I'm thinking of like Jimmy VC, that kind of thing. Though they back in the day, they would have went into the supplemental draft when they were done in college, so that NHL teams had a chance to draft them essentially. But now that doesn't exist, so they can just pick and choose where they go.
So this is like the anybody's leftover draft.
Yeah, like Cory Cross made it through the U of A. He was a star there.
Who's the other guy? Bob Bugner? Who'd you say?
Steve Ruchin was the only guy in the supplemental draft who's played more games.
Fucking right. Bring his numbers.
All right.
He did all right for himself.
He did fantastic.
I remember Steve Ruchin.
He was a Duck for a bit, too.
He was a Duck, yeah.
Steve Ruchin, 735 NHL games, the bulk of those with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Who'd he end up with at the end?
He finished in 2005-2006 with the Rangers and then 06-07 with the Atlanta Thrashers / Winnipeg Jets franchise.
Gotta love someone who played with the Thrashers, the ultimate throwback now.
Absolutely.
So we're short 2 voices on the podcast
today. It's nice. A guy can get his word in edgewise here.
Yeah, it's edgewise. Not like piping hot in here for a change. And if you followed along the real life social medias, you know that they were in Buffalo for the trip, Chalmers and Jay. Do we have a comment on Jay's Uggs?
Jay looked fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%.
He had Uggs and a fanny pack on with that ridiculous Movember duster that he's got going on. That was a look of all time.
And I can tell you, knowing our dear Squire, he's not doing this to get a rise out of people. He doesn't think he looks ridiculous.
No.
He thinks he's fashion forward.
To me, it reminds me of every time Jay comes back from like Sweden or something and he's wearing culottes and like a scarf.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But this time he went full Australian with the Uggs and a fanny pack.
I'll give him credit. As long as I've known him, he's always been the guy to be like, Kate, this is the new thing. Kate, this is the new thing. Kate, this is the new thing. But with these fucking Uggs and this fanny pack, he's wearing it to prove a point. He's wearing it so that all the boys in the football trip go, what the fuck? That's how you dress nowadays? You're a joke. And one by one, he'll shout them down until at the end, no one will look him in the eye and he gets to wear Uggs.
I was going through Bieber's Instagram account as I do.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Bieber outfit that Jay was wearing.
Well, it's not Drew House.
It's definitely not Drew because it's not a $300 hoodie he was wearing. Tell you that much.
Is that what those things are?
Yeah, I saw one on Drew, the clothing line that I was like, man, this is a dope hoodie.
Is it Drew or Drew House?
Might be Drew House.
Oh, House of Drew or some bullshit.
Do
you know why it's called Drew?
Isn't that his dad's name?
It's his middle name.
Is this a Bieber clothing line?
Don't worry about it. Yeah, Chuck, it's just for me. It's just for us young guys over here.
So I went over to buy a hoodie and it's $300.
Really bright, pink.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was a zip up. It looked fresh. The inside looked like a flowery coat. It was nice.
That's nice. I feel like it's going to be quality.
Absolutely.
Everything Bieber does is quality. Never say never. Quality.
Arguably the greatest documentary ever made.
Believe, also quality.
Absolutely. Although that was kind of when he was getting into his shitty face.
Sure. Girlfriend, quality track.
Absolutely. Although I had a big argument with my sister that Hailey Bieber is not as beautiful as I said she was.
Oh.
Ridiculous.
You think she's a smoke show and your sister thinks she's gross?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I hope Bieber's...
Don't have too many takes on Bieber.
Nothing, eh? Oh, we'll keep
Although,
going.
weird moment in my life the last 2 weeks. This girl I went to high school with was like just on Snapchat, and her Snap story was her at this fancy LA mansion. Then the camera pans to Bieber.
JB?
Yeah, and you look at it and you're like
hanging with him?
Yeah, like this girl who I went to school with in St. Albert was
Get
just like
the phone out of Bieber's face for Christ's
and
sake.
then she had pictures on her Instagram of them just like standing next to each other.
Man, that's the clout you need, though.
It was just the weirdest
Did
fucking
Bieber
thing.
look annoyed in the photo?
No, it just looked. And there was like, it wasn't like there was a crowd of people. It was just like them at a pool, like a backyard pool. It was an odd little run of circumstances in all my group chats.
You got to think how annoying it is to be asked to be in photos all day long. If you're Biebs, like everywhere you go, some motherfucker's like, "Hey, get over here and take a photo with my nephew."
I think about this shit all the time because
You
I'm
do?
super into huge celebrity Instagram accounts. Tyler is now showing Wanye the picture of the lady and Bieber.
And he's wearing the Drew House shirt.
He's wearing a Drew shirt. Of course. Biebs knows product placement.
Jesus Christ.
Knowing our demographic, they're probably so happy that we're looking at pictures of Bieber right now while recording.
Well, Tyler,
Can you put that on the socials? Can you regram it?
Do I really want to
tag
do
her?
that?
absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
You're her famous friend from high school.
That's the clout we need.
She has so many followers now.
Really?
Of course
She
she does.
shot up to like 20,000 now.
Of course.
Really? What's she rocking? What you got in the pants? You know what I'm saying? For like,
Are we talking about Jujar?
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Okay, what?
What?
Hold
Hey.
up.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jujar, you know who the new Jujar is?
More like Hujar.
Oh. See, without this many people here, we can get these jokes off without the conversation being kidnapped.
Well, and also it's fun, Wanya, because this reminds me of when it was you and I before Tyler was here, and just seeing the annoyance on his face as we're talking about Bieber
it's
for
nice.
5 minutes is nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, real nice. Anyway, I'm obsessed with celebrities on Instagram.
Go on.
John Travolta is the weirdest fucking person on the planet.
Buddy, I watched that movie Fred Durst made with him. I'm not a fan of abandoning cinema because I'm like, nope, the fucking best boy worked on this and I'm going to watch it till the end. I think I can think of 3 movies I haven't watched. Number 1, Disney's Holes featuring a young Shia LaBeouf.
Of course.
2, Fargo. I fucking hate Fargo and
seen
I've tried
Fargo
to
either.
watch it 3 separate times, once on a plane, once in the theater, once at someone's house. No. And then this fucking movie with Fred Durst and Travolta. What's it called? Stalker or some shit?
I don't know.
And it's about a fan that goes insane. And Devin Sawa's in it from the Stan video.
Wow.
It's fresh on Netflix.
Speaking of Stan, was that last week I mentioned? 19 years ago, Stan came out.
Really?
Unbelievable.
So obsession with celebrities on Instagram. Keep going.
Yeah, so I was watching John Travolta's Instagram account, and he is wandering around Sydney looking for what's her face from Greece. It's
Why?
He's doing some kind of meet and greets of some kind. I don't know why John Travolta.
So he's just walking through the streets of Sydney pretending to look for Sandy?
Yeah, he's like, Sandy, where are you? I'm here in Sydney. But like, my point that I was getting at is this dude is so fucking famous that he has lost the
Oh,
plot.
yeah. You would.
So I'm thinking about Bieber now, where he is what, probably like 20 something years old, 22 years old, something like that.
23, I think he's, yeah.
He cannot leave a building.
No.
There is nothing that prepares you for that.
No.
No matter how famous Tyler Yaremchuk is,
Famous.
Yeah.
he can walk out of buildings.
And it's weird too because people, when they see celebrities, don't keep like. I was watching. There's a show on Netflix with Seth Rogen. And it's like an eating show. He was a guest on it. It's like a chef friend of his.
Yeah.
And they go to Vancouver and they're eating and they're talking like Seth Rogen's as down to earth as a guy that exists. And he's talking with his buddy. And he's like, when people see celebrities, they're always like, I would normally never do this, but like that's all they get all day long.
Another one that I was finding out or digging into is Matthew McConaughey's new Instagram account.
Go on.
He has also lost the plot.
Well, he has very short arms.
It's one of those things where I just think that these guys have been so famous for so long that they have nobody that tells them no anymore.
McConaughey like is infamous for going and crashing like a frat party and hanging out and being normal and shit too. And I think it's all, you can't be normal.
It's all a ruse.
You can't be normal when you're that famous.
He's just, in his very first Instagram post, he's just rattling off cliches that somebody told him sounds important at some point, but they just don't make any fucking
like
sense.
the Lincoln commercials where he's like, why drive when you can live? And
Yeah,
you're like,
stuff
I don't know,
like that.
man.
You're
I
like-
just want a car.
Just need to get to work.
I was watching a fake Lil Pump impersonator over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
Who rolled up to the VMA parties or something with his he had a fake security entourage, fake the whole thing. And he walked like through a party and like down an alley that was all bars and stuff like that. And the amount of fuss people were making was insane.
Over a Lil Pump, allegedly.
Shit. P.S. But anyway, he's walking down and like people are yelling, Lil Pump, I love you. And like to go around and you're like, I just want to go to the store and get some almond milk, which I assume all celebrities drink in their coffee.
It's delicious.
No one's got time for real milk.
Hell no. Lactose, Tyler.
It'd fuck your head up.
Almond milk will, yeah.
Especially if you're in like an airport. I feel like this is where celebrities get accosted all the time. It's because like even if you're celebrity rich, unless you're celebrity rich, you're flying with the rest of us cattle.
Yep.
And I saw Hugh Grant in the London airport once, and Jay and I chased him for 10 minutes down the thing. He looked like a leather shoe.
I saw Brad Pitt at West Edmonton Mall when he was here filming that cowboy movie or whatever.
A girl I know took a photo of him and Angie and sold it to one of the tabloids and bought a Jeep with the money.
Yeah, she got it for like $100K, didn't she? It was something nuts.
She bought a Jeep. I remember that.
It was Jeep money.
Because I remember one of my instructors at Nate actually helped her like facilitate that. And like,
really?
Because she worked at CTV at the time, found out whoever it was had the photo and like helped her sell it and like market it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I saw Brad Pitt. I was nowhere near him. But he
what
was
was
a
he doing?
tiny little man. He was just walking. And there was just...
Solo?
No, it was him and Angela and what's her face?
Angelina Jolie?
What's her face?
Hold on, what? Wait.
He was filming that like...
Yeah. The assassination of Jesse James by the coward Roger. Robert Ford. You saw Brangelina walking together?
They had they had security behind them, and then there was just a crowd behind the security. It was very odd.
And you were walking towards them?
Well, I didn't really realize what I was upstairs. They were downstairs.
What were you getting at the mall, first of all?
I was probably going to HMV, to be honest.
That's cool.
Probably picking up the new Limp Biscuit.
Yeah. So you're getting yourself...
Chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
So you're picking up Roland DMX edition, urban assault vehicle mix. You come down the escalator and you see Brangelina?
No, I'm walking towards that end of the mall, I believe. We were near the ship.
Top floor?
Top floor. I was top floor, they're bottom floor.
Oh.
Yeah. I had no idea who it was, to be honest. And then I asked somebody, I was like, why are those two people being trailed by a large crowd of people? Those fucking idiot. Brangelina.
I remember being at the mall when MC Hammer was there.
Whoa.
But it was like pandemonium. I can remember, very similar down by the deep sea adventure. People like, Hammer! And like running down the... whatever you would
jumping off the upper level.
And then he and his crew, I'll never forget this. We could look it up if we had time, but we don't. So we can't look it up. You have to take me at my word. But he took a scooter. You used to be able to rent scooters there, like sitting scooters, down the escalator.
What?
And fucked the scooter up.
Okay.
And he bought Hammer pants at the mall, the Zazu store, I'm told.
Sick.
But he was banned for life.
Hammer's banned for life.
Banned for life from the mall. If the mall keeps records, which they don't, because I know a kid who was banned for life who still goes there all the time now. Name might be Jay. If you ever want to ask him a question, ask him why he wasn't allowed to go to the mall.
I'm just gonna guess. Jay jumped in the pool, didn't he?
No, really. He was a very small shoplifter.
Oh,
like
classic.
Elementary. What'd he steal?
Probably culottes.
Rita McNeil album for his mom for a Christmas present.
Nice.
Well, it was done with a
Your
good
object's
heart.
like, well, that's why you go to jail for the rest of your life. Too bad, criminal.
When I worked at the mall back in my youth,
Hold on, what'd you do at the mall?
I worked at Jersey City.
That is so you.
Oh, yeah.
Were you like, how dare you buy that Dave bed? He's a fucking bottom six player. You should get this jersey.
I would love that when customers would come in and be like, so the Oilers, this, and I'd be like, hold up. No, you don't know shit, all right? 1 second. When I worked there, I was talking to a security guard because someone had jumped into the lake that night or the Santa Maria water. And I was like, so they're banned for life. Like, how do you enforce that? And the security guard's like, well, like it's a ban for life so that if they come back and fuck more shit up again, we can just charge them with trespassing because they're banned. Like, we don't actually want them to stop shopping at the mall.
A few things spring to mind. Number one, I guarantee you the mall now has facial recognition software.
Probably.
If there's going to be any place in Edmonton that has it, it's going to be them. And the casinos. Because I know a guy, Jay talked about it. He banned himself for life in the casinos and they scanned his face. Two, hold on, wait. No, just one. Go ahead.
My old roommate used to be a security guard at the mall, and I asked about lifetime bans. Admittedly, this was 10 years ago. He's just like, yeah, we have no fucking clue. He's like, we have to kick kids out for jumping in the pool all the time.
Yeah.
I remember, this is what I was going to say, being in Nashville, which you're too young for here. I'm checking. You may remember Bagmo.
Nashville's I never got there.
Just on the edge. So it was over where the Sport Check is now. And there was two bars. There was the inner bar, which had the dance floor. And then it had the outer bar, which was the chill zone. I remember seeing buddies being in a circle talking, and one guy I knew being like, be back in a minute. 10 minutes later, he was back standing there completely soaked, standing in the bar. I'm like, where'd you go? He's like, I jumped in the water.
So the Sport Check used to be a bar?
Yeah. And he ran, jumped in, got out, ran all the way, somehow chill zone in Nashville's not a long line, got back in the bar.
West Ed
That's
used to
when
be
men
like,
were men.
I remember going to foam parties at Escape in West Ed. They were weird. It was a weird scene at West Ed bars.
I remember being in Thailand at a foam party and like walking by really early in the morning. We were leaving and they were like shoveling all the foam back into the foam jug that they would re-foam the next
Oh,
night.
that's
It's
so
gnarly, man.
gross.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, it was.
I don't want to go.
and they
to a
hand
foam
bomb
party.
a lot of those pails clean in like
Yeah,
the bay.
maybe a rinse. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
A little bit of salt water. They'll clean it right up.
Bring your own. Where do we
Disgusting.
vent the sewage? Into the bay. Where do we clean the buckets? In the bay.
Yeah. Great.
Do we want to talk a little Oilers?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's how we can end the last 10 minutes of this podcast, right?
Huge weekend, Tyler.
For
Points.
Marcus Granlund.
Oh, buddy, you must just get a button to hit. Oh, that was
See,
smooth.
I like how anytime it's turned into a thing where Marcus Granlund, anytime anything happens with him, your mentions blow up.
My mentions, they do. I'll just sit there and I'll wait like 2 seconds, and then my Twitter app will have like a little 30 next to it. And I'll be like, oh, there you go. The Granlund crowd is back, and everyone tweets me. It's like, how do you like that? You're on drunk. And some people are fun, and some people are like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know how to pick anything. But that's
That's
all
the
right.
value of naming a goat.
Yeah.
You got to name a goat.
You become the president of the hater fan club. Literally, every time he scores, I'm like, oh, that your Rebchuk is probably laying an egg. He's so mad right now.
But I'm actually pretty happy for him. I mean, whatever. He's hot right now. We'll see if it lasts. And I'm still pessimistic, but it's great that they're getting bottom six scoring. And this weekend was fucking unbelievable.
You know what they
Yesterday they had 3 goals. Not one of them was from Connor or Leon. That's huge.
Huge.
Who were the 3 goals? It was Granlund.
Your favorite.
It was Bear.
Second favorite.
And it was Neil on the power play. Oh, so yeah, Draisaitl and McDavid factored into one or two of them. But yeah, you're right. 3 goal scorers that weren't 97 and 29. And I mean, if they keep that going, like it's like getting to the point where it feels like 16, 17. And a month from now, I think you'd almost be really safe to say they're a lock to make the playoffs.
Now, I'd like to go back. I don't know if you have it here, but the fucking prediction I had for the start of the season.
It was.
It is freakishly on point.
There's something wrong with you.
Thank you.
You're like a young Gregor with his predictions, which is a
much
great
younger.
compliment.
You need more earrings then.
Yeah. I'm like one of them ancient aliens pyramids that predicts the future all accurate, like when the world was supposed to end in 2012.
It could. Still could.
I've been freaked out by 2 end of the worlds now. I got scared by Y2K.
I was scared by Y2K.
Plenty scared.
I had a buddy that played the ultimate prank at Y2K. He went down to we were just having a house party as teens do.
Go on.
And he went down to the circuit board, and right at midnight, he flipped all the power off in the house. It was great.
Do people scream and stuff?
Absolutely. Pandemonium. It was
For
hilarious.
real?
So good.
That's
funny.
genius.
Shout out to Jeremy, wherever you are now.
When the millennial New Year's party I went to when it hit, we were just listening to Millennium over and over.
Yeah,
and
Will
over.
2K, of course.
And drinking Gladiators. You ever drink those?
Man, it's been a minute since I had a Gladiator.
Peach schnapps.
I like peach schnapps.
That'd be delicious. Wasn't it Gladiator?
I can see the bottle.
Yeah. It's that cherry liqueur or whatever.
Like an almond liqueur.
Yeah.
What's in the Gladiator?
Okay.
It's orange juice, peach schnapps.
That sounds tasty.
It's not bad. If you drink a lot of them with the Millennium, you'll get fucked up.
Okay. I have your.
Put that out as a clip.
Amaretto and orange juice.
Amaretto. Fuck, I used to go through amaretto.
Oh, fuck.
What's strange when you first start drinking is you're like, you know what I'd like is a drink of alcohol that tastes nothing like alcohol.
Yeah.
When I first started drinking, I would go to the bar, Nashville's, the outside chill bar where my earlier friend jumped and ran back in. There was a fella there that the bartender was a good guy, Big Al. 2 shots of vodka, and he would like line them up with lemon and 1 pack of sugar, and I would just drink each shot and then be like, okay, see you in a while, Al, and I'd go off. No time for mix, no time for nothing.
Vodka shots, eh?
Straight. It's called lemon drops.
I can't do that.
My 18-year-old drink was vodka slimes.
Oh, nice.
I loved those. Let's go to the Armory.
Oh,
Have a couple of vodka slimes.
Good
Go
times.
upstairs to the rock part of the
totally
bar.
different DJ.
Absolutely.
I can't hear downstairs, upstairs.
Hell no.
One time I let my buddy a shirt. We were at my house, and he's like, can we go to the bar tonight? Can I borrow one of your shirts? And I was like, okay, you can look at my closet, but if you take a good shirt, you can't fuck it up. He took my best shirt, then fell ass over tea kettle all the way down the stairs, including the turn, which I think was just embellishing, all the way down the basement. That shirt was never the same.
I had a buddy fall down the stairs at Iron Horse one time, and I could still see it in my head.
Oh, the curved stairs?
Yeah. It's MKT now, I think.
There's a certain level of like rudeness though when you're doing bar design to be like, what are we gonna get everybody? Super fucked up. Then what? Make them go on a treacherous fucking set of stairs, like the stairs to the top of the banana bar.
Oh.
Those are the most dangerous stairs you'll ever find in a bar in your
Yeah,
life.
those are not to code.
No.
Tyler, what was your first bar drink, which was probably 6 months ago?
It wasn't. I remember my 18th birthday still when I got kicked out of the bar, and then while I sat on the concrete, the bouncer had to come out and apologize to me.
Where'd you get kicked out of?
The ranch. When I was 18, and so I was like obviously just fucked up, and our limo almost crashed on the way
Limo,
there.
your 18th birthday?
Wow, yeah.
Big flex.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That was before he was him too.
So we had a limo, and the driver just slammed on the brakes at one point. So me and all my friends went fucking tumbling. I was crouched down changing the song, and I rolled across the limo, and everyone was soaked in fucking booze. So we showed up to the ranch like soaked in booze. Everyone's already shit-faced. It's my birthday, so obviously like people are buying me drinks.
The ranch is like, well, a limo of kids just pulled up covered in their own excrement and booze, and this is pre-bar.
So we go in there. I'm shit-faced. It's like 12:30. I'm like falling asleep at a table.
Now, did it turn midnight into your birthday, or was it your birthday when you rolled up covered
Birthday
in
when I
booze?
rolled up.
Okay. fair enough.
So it's like 12:30. I'm so fucked up that I'm falling asleep at the bar, and the bouncer came over. I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! Like you can't be sleeping." And my friend's like, "Whoa, calm down. We'll wake him up. He's fine." So he woke me up and was like, "If you sleep one more time, you're done." I was like, "Yeah, for sure, man." And I fell asleep again.
I'm Tyler Yaremchuk, soon to be from TSN.
Fell asleep again. He walked over and was like, "All right, buddy, last warning. Stop sleeping." And I just looked at him and fucking puked everywhere, all over the dance floor. Like 18-year-old me.
You're on the dance floor in the story too?
No, it's like on those tables that were on the edge of the dance floor, but like all over
viewing
the
tables.
floor. Sorry. So he like kicks me out, throws me on the concrete, and I'm just like sitting out there by myself. And my girlfriend at the time just fucking reams this guy out. I guess I don't remember.
Mrs. Former Yaremchuk.
And she just gave him an earphone. Was like, "It's his fucking 18th birthday, you asshole!" Blah 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 blah. Rips him, and then he came out and like gave me a towel and a water, and was like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry. Here's some ranch VIP cards. Like, we'd love to have you back. Like, I'm sorry you didn't have a good birthday." Blah 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 blah. And I was just like so fucked out, looking at him, just being like, "Okay."
There is nothing more aggressive than a drunk woman playing mama bear for her boyfriend.
Oh boy, on his 18th too.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
So that was my first bar story. My initial bar drinks, pretty basic, just like rum and cokes, right?
That's still what I drink.
Oh yeah, me too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love
Beat
Di
rum.
Serono as an 18-year-old too. Just pounding Di Serono.
Classic.
What on earth?
Classic.
On the rocks?
Yeah.
Did you see
Man.
those ads? There's ads. They're like, hey, they're like two people at a bar. Like, could I get a Di Serono on the rocks? The other person's like, can I also get a Di Serono
It's
on
good.
the rocks?
I'll still drink it. I haven't had it probably in like 6-7 months though. But I remember when me and my buddy, we went to Toronto once because we wanted to go watch baseball. And every morning we'd wake up and just like pound almost a 2-6 of Di Serono before like 10 o'clock and be like, "Let's start our day."
Well, time to go watch the Jays. We're blind drunk.
The old Di Serono drunk.
The only drink I can do straight on the rocks would be coconut. What does it would be?
Malibu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on the rocks.
It's tasty.
Mandeezy and I went to a Mexican wedding and it was so cooking hot we couldn't do anything. So we just got big ass thermo cups. Straight up. That's it.
I used to drink Zambuca on the rocks.
Oh,
in my-
no, you didn't.
Were you in the
My-
Greek Navy?
fucking
in
Satanist.
in my Cowboys days.
Damn.
Yeah. I would go for some 25-cent draft and get a Zambuca on the rocks. Terrible.
You know who loves
Lit on
Sambuca?
fire?
They did not light it on fire because I didn't want that. It scared me.
Oh, you gotta take a Sambuca shot lit.
My dad fucking loves Zambuca. And like
Sambuca or Sambuca?
Zambuca, same.
Sambuca? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. What do you think?
He calls it Zambuca, but
No,
whatever.
I've heard of both.
Yeah. But like whenever it's a happy occasion, you know Ross is busting out the Zambuca. We went golfing once with my now brother-in-law, and it was when my brother-in-law asked if he could marry my sister. And the next hole, my dad's like waving down the cart lady. He's like, "Do you have Zambuca? Can you go get us some?" And we're both like, "Ross, we don't like it's disgusting." He's like, "Nope."
Well, I pivoted from Zambuca to tequila, so I'm not sure one is better than the other, really.
Ugh, both awful.
What you want to get yourself is some mezcal. That's tequila's angry cousin. And it's not, it doesn't have the aftertaste.
No?
No.
Oh.
But it's.
I'm always down for a tea time. But you're an animal, though, because anytime you're out at a bar with Wanye and something's going on, you know a tray of Jack is showing up.
Yeah, you have to find a way to get through the day.
Unbelievable.
I like ordering lots of shots and then people being mad and having to drink them and then them being like, I don't want them. And I'm like, fine, I'll have the last 4. Whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I just feel myself getting angrier and angrier as the shots go down.
Because of Jack?
Yeah, it angers the blood
Really?
up. Yeah, it's whiskey's on my no-fly zone.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm a very, very happy drunk. Like, despite my day-to-day personality of being a general Grinch, like when I get drunk, man, the smile comes out and I'm happy as can be. You saw me on the Beatcast after I had a couple.
Is that
cocktails.
why all your photos in Vegas you look so smiley? Were you drunk?
Yeah. Oh, I was shit-faced the whole time.
I can't wait. You're coming to Vegas with us, aren't you?
I think that's still the plan. Yeah, I booked off the time. Excellent. Like you're gonna like it's.
That was you and the missus, right, in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were beaming ear to ear. I'm like,
yeah.
good God,
This is the happiest
this is
I've
not
ever
the
been.
your M truck I know down in the dungeon.
Tyler was on the Brumcast on Saturday night, and I could tell you were banged up because your framing that you did with your own phone, it was like you're zoomed in on your own nose and mouth and like one eye half shut. And everybody's like, oh, Tyler fell into one.
And then people asked for naked URM check on the Brumcast.
Well, I'm pushing for it, Wanya.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because every now and then Tyler will call in and he was like, but I can't show you the video because I'm in bed.
Ooh.
Like, well, give me some viewers, man. Naked
Show us
URM
under the
check.
tent.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I'm saying. How big's that tent? You got a Jujar tent over there?
Oh,
URM
hello.
check or what? The circus.
Speaking of the Oilers, and I think that's what kicked originally you wanted us to talk about, and then we started talking about how your dad drinks Sambuca, but that sounds about right. Connor and Leon are 1-2 points.
They're ridiculous.
The Oilers are first in the Pacific and what in the West?
One.
God.
Coming into play on Monday night, they were one at least.
Yeah, last night, I'll pull up the standings for you.
I think we're one.
It's Wanya, go back to your prediction for a second.
Okay, do you guys want it? I got it right here.
Yeah.
Okay, here's Wanya's prediction from before the season started.
Okay.
They're going to come out of the gate hot, and everyone's going to get super excited. The reverse of after the year they made the playoffs.
So October's going to be hot.
Hot out of the gate. People are going to be scoring. James Neal's going to have like 5 goals in October. We're going to be losing our shit.
My boy Jericho.
We're going to cool off a little bit, go maybe 500 hockey for like 10 games. All the naysayers back off the bandwagon. Bam! Blistering hot again until Christmas. And Connor's going to go into the Christmas break on fire. And they'll be talking about like shattering his point totals because he's so hot by the Christmas break. I'm going to tell you.
You're a witch.
You nailed like they cooled off that little bit, then bang, they're hot again.
The cooling off didn't last as long as I did.
Yeah.
After that point in the clip when I said, and Leon, they're going to be talking about him shattering his point totals too.
Yeah,
We're
he did.
there.
And the only thing you got wrong was you thought the Oilers would go on a 500 run longer than they did.
They're doing better than I thought they would.
And you undersold James Neal. That was the only thing
5
that you
goals in
got wrong.
October though.
But
What,
he
he
had
had,
like
like, 11?
Yeah, he had like 9, didn't he?
So-
That was ridiculous.
As of this morning, it is Monday in the Capital Region. Edmonton Oilers sitting in first place in the Western Conference with 35 points. Second place, St. Louis Blues with 33.
When can we declare this season good? Yaremchuk, you're the grumpiest, oldest man in this room.
Now, man, like they've built up a cushion. Moneypuck.com has them at like an 87% chance of making the playoffs or something crazy like that. I think Dom Lucian is the other guy who does a lot of these projections. He has them at like 65, but whatever.
But
What do we
didn't
wait till
didn't
Christmas?
Dom-
Christmas time?
Well, American Thanksgiving is the important date because the history shows if you're in a playoff spot on American Thanksgiving, you have a 75% chance of holding on to that spot and making it at the end of the year. Now, granted, there are teams like Buffalo last year who
Montreal
went from
when you were gassed it too. Didn't
yeah, like Buffalo last year went from like first in the conference, basically what Edmonton did, to missing the playoffs horribly and picking 7th in the draft. And St. Louis was the opposite last year. But I think if you can make it to January 1, and if they're still in one of those divisional spots, you got to be good.
So looking at the Pacific Division right now, after the weekend, the Oilers are up 4 points on the Coyotes at 35 points, and Coyotes have 31. That's why this road trip was so massive. 4 divisional games in a row. They fucked up against LA. Fine, okay. Huge bounce back game against Vegas.
Huge.
Arguably one of the best games they've played in a while.
Didn't we all think they were going to get 6 or 7 points and they came back with 6?
Yeah, they still got one more game.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
They could walk back to home with 8. Which is insane. If you go on this road trip, a 5-game trip through California and now to Denver, and get 8 out of 10 points, that's insane.
Huge.
And who would have thought that potentially the only loss comes to the fucking LA Kings, but whatever.
Even yesterday's win,
Yeah.
the Oilers played very well. They had that 90-second span in the second period where they fucked the dog, but that's, it happens.
Yeah.
But they didn't quit. This ain't no Dallas Aikens quitters team.
No.
No, it's not. And that's what I love about this. Like Handsome Tom today said it's a swagger. They don't think they're gonna lose. Like in past years, they lose one, and then they show up the next night and it's like, oh god, pressure's on us, and they lose again, and it snowballs into a losing streak. They're not letting that happen. It's a disappointing loss to Detroit, you bounce back the next night. A disappointing loss to LA, you bounce back against Vegas, and you're winning divisional games too, and that's what's going to be most important.
It's awesome watching the panel at intermission be like, well, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Apparently, people have to play hockey, and the people predicting don't know everything.
Well, it is funny how many predictions were just so wrong
Yeah.
this summer. Like you mentioned Dom Luszczyszyn. He does those predictions, and he's generally pretty good, but he only had the Oilers at 62 points this year in the summer.
He had them being like a bottom feeder.
That's why I'm pretty sure Jay is...
He bet him $20 or whatever he bet him.
Bet him some kind of bet on that, and it looks like Jay's going to have some money coming in.
He could hit 62 points before the end of January, and like it's entirely possible. It's insane the run they're on, and they're going to keep it rolling. They play Wednesday in Colorado, and then they're back home Saturday night against the Canucks. We're also having a good year.
Home and home against the Canucks this week.
Home and home?
Yep.
Oh, fuck, that's good. Like, and again, those, if you want to hold on to that spot, like right now they're in a point where as long as they keep winning divisional games and then go 500 against everyone else, they're so good. They'll win the division doing that.
It's kind of fun watching Calgary lose too.
Oh, who would have thought that bringing in Milan Lucic, Cam Talbot, and Tobias Reeder, who were the three of the biggest problems with the Oilers last year?
Well, Reeder wasn't a problem, was he?
Well, he didn't score.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought that? Who would have thought that would have saved the Flames? Like, Brad Tree Living came out this tweet came out while we were recording Oilers Nation Radio on Friday, and he came out and said, "It starts at the top. It starts with me. Our management hasn't been good." And it's like, well, no shit, man.
Your dad swindled the widow Horton.
Last night I got to write another James Neal thank you card for the Calgary Flames.
What's that all about? Talk to me. I see it.
So I had a dumb idea. When he scored the first one of the season, I thought maybe it'd be funny if I go on Amazon and I order a bunch of thank you cards, and every goal he scores, I send one down to the Calgary Flames.
You send it to the rink.
Yeah, to head office.
For real.
Yeah. So I ordered a bunch of thank you cards off Amazon, and then I tweeted out the address to Calgary's head office, and I encouraged everybody to join in. And then I tweeted the link for my very cheap thank you cards. So every goal he scores, I send one down.
And other Nation fans are doing it as well.
There's a handful of Nation fans sending thank you cards every time.
Who's sending
James
down
scores.
cards with you?
There's a guy, Mitch. I wish I could remember off the top of my head.
Mitch Hauser?
Yeah, Mitch
86?
Hauser.
Whatever
He's
it
one
is.
of them. I did hear from a little birdie saying that the Calgary Flames are confused why they're getting dozens and dozens of thank you cards sent to their head office.
I'll tell you why, Calgary, because you could suck it. That's why. You had your chance on top with your little tiny Johnny Gaudreau.
And the thing is, too, like I wanted this to be a positive thing. So the caveat to join in was that the message on your thank you card has to be super positive.
The bag milk way.
Don't be
You
a
can't be like,
dickbag.
fuck you, Brad Tree Living, and I hate Flames fans.
Nope. I'd write a nice little poem. Tyler's written a couple. We did some on ON Radio. It's just a fun, good bit
Oh, yeah.
that nobody knows except
And someone
Nation
has to
fans.
open it and read it and is like waiting for the next one whenever he scores.
Yep.
If I was a Flames fan right now, I would be so pissed that not only we suck, and this is talking about the Flames, but we also took a whole bunch of polarizing Oilers onto our sucking team. And then the triplicate is that the Oil are dominant, and we gave them James Neal, the guy we were hating on all last year. Going on Flames Nation and reading after losses is my new thing. I love it. People are so pissed.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the Talbot Smith swap on top of that as well. Like, it multiplies for Flames fans. It sucks to be them right now.
Talbot's a nice guy.
He is. Very, very nice
community
guy.
Yeah.
But
Mike Smith's a better goalie.
Yeah, Mike Smith's
Straight
better
up.
goalie, and that's just the bottom line.
And Koskinen, what is he, like 11-2? What is Koskinen?
Koskinen has only lost once in regulation. He's 9-1-2 in 12 starts. Like, that's fucking unbelievable.
He's in the conversation for the Vizina.
And what has anyone even heard a whisper about the guy's glove hand yet this year? No.
Well, they always shoot high glow. I noticed that, but that's fine.
But he's keeping him out now, and that's a big difference as well. It's just an unbelievable start. Like, Oilers fans have to be on cloud nine. Finally, I sit down and I'm like, there's no game now until Wednesday. I'm like itching. I'm like, we can't go that long without an Oilers game. When's the next? What am I going to do? Who am I watching with? What establishment should I be at?
You know my little zoom in things where I do my playoff 2020 on
Yep.
Insta?
Yep.
I think it's funny.
Yep.
When I first started doing them, people respond back and be like, you're fucked. The Oilers are not making the playoffs. You're an idiot. You're a stupid idiot. And I've kept these messages. And now, after I post them, people are like, we're going to the cup. Like, I'm starting to see people talking like that. And like, it's interesting to watch the fan mood change. So now when I post that, I will also go and DM a screenshot of you're a fucking idiot back to people from the beginning of the year.
well, it's
They
a lot
don't
more,
answer.
It's a lot more fun doing the post game thing as well.
I can imagine.
Obviously, I would prefer to have a drink than eat beets every time, but just
Yeah.
the attitude of the people in the comment section is so much fun right now.
So how many cans of beets have you only had this year? Like 4?
Yeah, not many. I only do it after every loss, so whatever the Oilers are at in terms of
Yeah, because
losses.
initially it was
you
you were
lost
going
when you do it?
Yeah, every loss.
Initially, you were only going to do it until they were back to 500, right?
Yep.
And now you're just committed to whenever there's a loss, you Bucking up the beats.
Is that what it is?
They're 16, 7, and 3. So I've done 10 cans of beat so far this year.
And 16 Brumcasts.
And 16 Brumcasts.
That's a pretty good record. That's not bad.
Not too shabby.
My pregame podcast, Bet of the Game, lost, though. It does not have a good record.
Is it one shot of Brum if you lose? If we win?
Yeah, I just make a standard highball. Just as.
What do you mix it with?
Well, you see, Brum is a little bit sweeter than normal rum, so I have to press it. So I'm just doing some Brum, some Coke, a little bit of soda water.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's
What do you
nice.
call
It's
it?
a nice little cocktail.
Just a little Brumski. That's what I'm calling it.
like
Rig
that.
Hand likes it.
Brumski.
I like it.
I think it's a
Spice
good
Brum,
spot to.
delicious.
I think it's a good spot to end the podcast.
You know what? It was nice in here this week.
It was. Cory Cross was great. That was a really insightful chat.
Amazing that he was just sitting there in school and someone tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Who wants to be a millionaire?"
I'm just happy we got to talk about Instagram weirdos again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot of classic real life talk. I feel like done today.
Where's Roy Purdy these days on Instagram?
Where are a bunch of these guys?
Buddy, I don't know what happens to these kids. I think they might fry their brains.
Kush Poppy's gone. Gucci Berry, I don't see him around anymore.
He's probably in the Senate or something.
Probably.
Anyways,
Elected
Graham
governor.
Drake, you don't know who any of those people are because you're still
Nope.
on fax machines.
All right. Well, shout out to Mary Brown's for hooking us up with another Mary Brown's Poppin' for their bite-sized morsels of 100% breast meat, chicken coated in Mary seasoning, served hot crispy. So yummy. Had a great chat with Cory Cross. No Chalmers, no Jay. They'll be back from Buffalo next week. For Bag Milk, Wanya, I'm Tyler Rumchuck. Thanks for tuning in to Nation Real Life.